Hey everyone, it's me, Russ Terry, and happy weekly Webisode Wednesday. I have a special guest this week, Jose Albino, who is a counselor and therapist, and he's going to talk about the difference between life coaching and counseling or therapy. So Jose, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, alright. So let's get right into it. What are the main similarities between counseling or therapy and life coaching?
The similarities is that with coaching and with therapy, we're trying to move the client through, whether it be from point A to point B, or whether addressing the client where they are at. So therapy deals with addressing the client where they're at and where they want to be, and similarly coaching is the same thing as well.
Got it. Okay, so what are the main differences then?
Well, one of the main differences between coaching and therapy is that in coaching there is no diagnosis, while in therapy there is a diagnosis. Where you're dealing with, and therapy, it can be prolonged, it can be years, it can be months, where, let's say, coaching, it's very detailed, it's very short term, it's very, I have a goal, and together with the client, you get together and decide what that time frame is going to be based on the identified goal.
Okay, good. So what would you say is a situation where someone should see a therapist or counselor and not a life coach?
I think that, an individual really does know when they need to see a therapist or a coach. I think that with a therapist it deals more with dysfunction or more of a root of a problem, where with coaching you're dealing more with high functioning individuals who know, yes, I have had a problem, yes, I may have a dysfunctionality in my life that I don't need to process thoroughly and progressively with a therapist, but I know that I need to reach these particular goals, and a coach is probably the best person to help me do that.
Got it. All right, you answered my next question. That's great. Moving right along here. Thank you. So, are there examples out there of situations where somebody can see both a life coach and a therapist, or are there situations where the therapist or life coach can play both roles?
Well, I think the most important thing is that a coach is not a therapist.
Right.
We're not counselors, and we're here, like I said before, to move a person from point A to point B. It's very solution focused, which is what the client may come to you and say, this is what I need, this is what I want. Where in therapist, the person doesn't come to you necessarily telling you this is what they want, this is what they need. They come to you and say, I'm having issues with, whether it be alcoholism, or whether it be with family dysfunction, or whether it be, they're coming to you with an issue. Now the therapist can address the issue and also do what a coach does. They can focus on these deep-rooted issues, but also become a coach throughout the process, while a coach can't do that. And ethically, what we do is, if these issues do come up that are more therapeutic and more rooted in perhaps deeper issues, and that's when we have to refer. So the difference is that a therapist can do both. They can be a therapist and they actually act as a coach, because they can also move you from point A to point B, while a coach, we can't do that. And also the other difference is, like I mentioned, we as coaches, we don't diagnose. But we also, other people feel that they don't need to work through a lot of issues. They just want to speak to a coach to move them from a particular issue to another goal that they may have.
Got it. All right. Well, anything else you think our viewers should know about the similarities and differences between life coaching and therapy and or counseling?
I think the similarities and differences is that both disciplines, what we're really focused on, whether you're a therapist or a social worker or a coach or whatever it is that you're calling yourself, whatever discipline you identify with, the important thing is to move your client forward based on what the client has identified they want to work through. And I think if that's being kept in mind, that I know there's a lot of similarities between the two worlds, but I think the main focus should always be on the client and what the client needs and what they want.
All right, well, Jose Albino, thank you so much for joining us. You have a master's in counseling, and you mastered this topic as far as I'm concerned.
Thank you for having me.
All right, it was a pleasure. Thanks a lot for watching, and be sure to tune in next week on Weekly Webisode Wednesday.